Welcome back for another video. It's Eharbad, and today we're going to look at the old Sand Devil team. I've been asked to show what I run many times, but I've never made a video on it. And well, today is finally that day where I'm going to show what I'm running. We have the Sand Devil turn attack with a 35 prism shards at 3900. I do think this is probably worth going for. A tier 2 soulstone at 3000 is also pretty good. Even 500 tier 2 coins is actually pretty valuable. It's worth half a tier 2 soulstone or a bunch of essences, which you can get via the shop. And then obviously the prism shard gives us a very, very small chance to get Archer. I mean, I'm not going to dwell too much. I think the way they've dealt with Archer is absolute trash. Probably one of the best champions they've ever added in the game for Hydra, and Hydra is such an important part of the game these days. And actually, to be honest, it's probably one of the few parts that's still kind of fun and engaging. And the fact that this champion is time limited, that even if you were spending, you wouldn't be able to necessarily get the champion. Like, it's just a bit depressing. It's a bit miserable, really. Playroom love to sap the fun out of something. But anyway, like I don't like time limited champions, and I definitely don't like time limited champions that the entire player base doesn't get for free. I think, Ninja and Ronda and all these were bad enough, but at least everyone got them. Whereas all the Xena, which I think, still exists. I said it at the time, I didn't like the way they had done Xena. And I definitely don't like this Monster Hunter collaboration. I think it's really bad for the long-term health of the game, and I think people who do not get Archer are going to be seriously pissed off in the long run when it's no longer possible to get this champion, and people will see what's capable, what other people are able to do with this champion. Like, it's just nuts, really. I mean, you get Hex for 3 turns and Provoke for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown AoE, plus AoE decreased speed, and instead it would be AoE stun if it's not a boss. Like, this is nuts, absolute nuts kit. And then you've obviously also got this increasing defense, healing allies, like just crazy champion, fantastic base stats. Anyway, I'm not going to go into too much more than that, but I think it's a really bad direction of the game. I said it with Xena, and I'll say it again. I think they'll end up having a lot of very frustrated players, both spenders and people who don't spend alike. Like, either way, I think the health of the game will suffer by having these champions as time limited in this kind of sheer volume. If you think that we had what, Ronda plus what do you call it, Alexander and Ninja, so we had like 3 in 3 years or 3 in 3.5 years, and now we've got 6 in the space of a few months. So anyway, back to the matter at hand. Sand Devil's Necropolis. So I run the partially booked Godseeker, and I can talk a little bit about this particular composition, and I can probably talk a little bit about the alternative if you have a fully booked 5-star Awakened with Miracle Heal Godseeker. There's also, you can do solo Blizzard, you can run different DPS instead of Ninja. Let's just run it once, we'll go through the stats, and we'll talk about how it works. So the whole idea is that it's a Phoenix composition in to a certain degree. The boss will kill everyone. Godseeker will revive herself with her passive, and then use her active revive to revive the DPS champion. It can be Ninja, it can be anyone else. There are a few criteria for that DPS champion, however, and that's that they need to do few enough hits that you don't wake the boss up. So you cannot do 5 hits through that champion. So they can't have things like Giant Slayer. So if you had Ninja with a triple hit with a Giant Slayer and Phantom Touch, for instance, you would be asking for trouble, basically. So you can't wake the boss up. You have to allow the revive to happen, do your damage, because obviously you reset the abilities on that DPS champion. You do your damage that first turn. Godseeker comes in, uses her A2, so we get the revive now. DPS from A2 from Godseeker resets or rather cleanses the destroyed HP. And that has to happen whilst the boss is asleep. Otherwise, you will not get that effect unless you're running Miracle Heal. Now, the thing with the Miracle Heal, if you have a fully booked Godseeker, because the speed you have to run Godseeker to sync up the timings of the revive versus the boss's turns means you have to run the Godseeker very slow, which means you don't get the opportunity to use that A2. So you're relying entirely on the proc of Regen Immortal to clear the entire destroyed HP, which is why you need to run 5-star Miracle Heal. That's the only way you'll actually clear enough of the destroyed HP for that to work. Now, my booked out Godseeker is not 5-star Ascended, so I cannot run that composition. It took me 6 Godseekers to actually get the booking correct. So let's go in and have a look at that. And in fact, before we even show it, if I go Godseeker, help if I can actually type, and then we go include Master Vaults, there we go. There's 6 Godseekers in total. The first one I fully booked out, which is currently 3-star Ascended with Miracle Heal, not enough to do the other composition. And then it was my 5th other Godseeker, my 5th and final. I tried the booking on all these other ones and didn't get it, basically. But here is the Godseeker I use. And essentially, my understanding of it is that you have to have these both on the same number of turns, critically, and they both need to be 6. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding on how it works is that they both have to be that way, because you can't trigger the active revive. I think the active revive technically could be slightly different, but not too different, because you can't, if you use the active revive before Godseeker revives through the passive, then you're not going to be able to revive your DPS. So you have to die, get Godseeker to revive via the passive, then have this off of cooldown to be able to revive the DPS. You also have to have the DPS die before this goes off of cooldown. So there are probably other permutations where it works, but as far as I can tell, the only one that's guaranteed to work is 1 book in each, regardless of what happens with your DPS. I think if you had a situation where your DPS dies more quickly, you could probably have more books in this passive and it wouldn't matter. But anyway, that's my understanding. Please, in the comments, do tell me if you think I'm wrong or tell me why. I think Spirit Haste is pretty important. You've got to run this Godseeker very fast, and Spirit Haste really does help. We have 3 food. They'll be dead all the time, so you'll be getting that 24 speed like all the time. Otherwise, you do take a lot of damage and you do need quite a lot of survivability. So actually things like Steadfast, Elixir of Life is actually really good. I have got improved parry just for the crit hit chance, because this is the thing that's most likely to actually cause you to die. You could probably go Blast Proof and Tough Skin as well instead, but you definitely want Rejuvenation because it gives you the extra healing. Same with all of these. You want the extra healing across the board, and you definitely want to be taking less damage. So Delay Death is very important. Beyond that, I haven't actually clicked anything else. I don't think anything else is that important at all, unless I find myself using this Godseeker anywhere else where some of the other masteries make sense. I'll just leave it unselected for the time being. terms of total stats, I do think you need this amount of effective HP. I did previously, or very early on, have a bit less, and I did get a fail. Since I've had this amount of stats, I've never had a fail, and I've been running this composition for many months now. So I can be confident that this amount of effective HP is sufficient. In terms of the speed, I don't know what the exact minimum is. Obviously, here we're running 272 plus 24 from the masteries, which means we're running at 296. When I have checked it in the calculator here, it did look to me that 286 might be the minimum you can get away with. Beyond that, if you get the decreased speed, you will miss a turn, and you can't possibly have that. So if this calculator is correct, then 286 is sufficient with the mastery, means I could actually drop a bit of speed, but I'm not 100% sure. So take that with a pinch of salt. I don't know for certain. 272 with the 24 definitely works. And yeah, in terms of what the DPS could be, it could be whatever you want as long as it's less than 5 hits in total. So you don't want relentless, you don't want extra turns, you don't want more than a triple hit. And if you do have a triple hit, you don't want War Master, you don't want Giant Slayer, you don't want Phantom Touch. So on the ninja here, actually let's go and show the ninja first before we go any further. I run Affinity Breaker because obviously we're running a magic champion against a force boss. So Affinity Breaker definitely helps in this regard. You got 50% chance now to change that weak hit to a crit. I'm running Perception because the boss requires a lot of accuracy to land debuffs. If I actually go to the Hell Hades stages tool, go dungeons, Sand Devil's Necropolis, hard. Not hard, I don't know why there's a hard. Normal stage 25. We need 525 accuracy. I always like to have just a bit extra. So I'd say really aim for 550. Why not? And then in terms of masteries, I do have Eagle Eye because I did not want to have War Master or Giant Slayer. And because we're running such a high accuracy, Eagle Eye is good. Now, what I wanted to try, and I've not tried it because my main newt is not suitable, wherever my main newt is, because he's got Phantom Touch and what do you call it? Giant Slayer. But I do have newt number 2, who I'm still working on, but I would like to give it a go because I don't have masteries on him. And it could be fun. Let's see if we can actually speed this up by using second newt. In theory, as far as I can tell, should work. Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't. And I go to this. I need to, let me see, can I, give me a second, let me see if I can get this right. Let's go there. Do this. We need to go like that. Drag it down a tiny bit. A little bit more about there. There we go. And I was going to run it. I was going to try and get the configuration that I would want, basically, because I ultimately want to try and use him in Fire Knight as this second composition. So I was looking for 100% crit rate. Blah blah blah. I should at least double check that we've got. Yeah, we do have Deadly Precision and Keen Strike. But I was struggling a bit, actually, so let's just drop that down a touch. We don't really care about the accuracy right now anyway, and I don't need accuracy for this boss at all. And I'm not really looking for any survivability, to be honest, because we don't need it. We don't really need it for Fire Knight, and we don't really need it here. We actually want him to die. So I don't really want to use these boots, but maybe just for the test, we'll just run this and see how it goes. So let's pretty much use that. If I toggle back here and we go, what fitting room? It was a swift parry was for a bunch of them. Like, I haven't tried this ahead of time, so if it doesn't work, then it is what it is. But use that one, and then Kreela has the shield. Royal Guard has the gloves. Oh, I'm breaking a lot of builds to do this. That's always kind of annoying. Oh, it's hard sometimes to find what you are looking for. Yeah, triple speed chest. Then those immortal boots that Visix is wearing. Then we basically need a banner. If we look at our fastest accuracy banner, it's going to be that Brogni one. And that's probably enough to do our test, isn't it, really? So we just need a substat accuracy, primary stat crit damage, sort by defense and accuracy. And we've got a couple of decent options here. I would probably say that one is the one we want. Oh, that's expensive. It'll do for the test. It will do for the test. So let's just see. I mean, as far as I can tell, it should still work the same. But we'll see. So we get the kill. I revive. Go Blessed Bash. We still get the countdown timer that we need. That's fine. I kind of need him to die. That's the thing. Can we get the swift parry proc? Wasting my time with the counter attacks, but he should die now. There we go. That's fine. We won't get the swift parry proc again. So swift parry, not the perfect set to be using. Get the revive. Go in A3. Not doing that much damage though. I think actually if you want to cap out the A3, need considerably more crit damage than what I'm running. So it probably won't be that fast, but in theory, it does work. Maybe the boss has one of those hidden passives that reduces it by even more. I'm not sure. I haven't really bothered looking into it. But anyway, technically, it's possible, but it seems to be even slower than Ninja, which is kind of disappointing. But what other options are there? I mean, Dreng is one that typically people would use. Anyone who hits really hard would probably work as well. I'm quite interested to try maybe the new login champion, Rathalos, was it? With his A2 could be quite interesting. I mean, this new is gonna work, but it's slow. I could maybe look into it a bit more. If I made him a lot slower and absolutely jacked up his crit damage, then maybe it would work better. Need to try and kind of get a sense of just how much crit damage you need to actually be hitting that 10%, if you can even hit the 10% on Sand Devil, because I mean it says 10%, so it doesn't say 5, so it should really be possible. But I hadn't looked into it. I just thought it'd be fun to not just show the actual team I use, which is the Ninja team, not just talk about, if you were going to run the 5-star Ascended, the fact that you run Godseeker much slower because you have to basically take 4 turns instead of 6. So this is effectively running at 1-to-1. I always take a turn with the boss, even when I have decreased speed. So, that is one of the situations. If you're running with a fully booked Godseeker, you've got 2 less cooldowns. You have to skip 2 turns. You have to run slow enough that you are only taking 4 turns for the boss's 6 instead of 6 for 6. And that's kind of the bottom line. And that's why you need the Miracle Heal. I don't have the 5-star Miracle Heal, so I am running my Godseeker with this particular booking. And this newt is doing a very slow, ponderous job of killing the Sand Devil. You can use any DPS there. Just find one that uses less than 3 hits. Don't give them Giant Slayer. Well, 3 hits is fine. Technically, even 4 hits would be fine. I think 4 hits would be fine, but you can't do more than 4. 4 is the absolute maximum. So don't give them Giant Slayer, don't give them Warmaster, don't give them Phantom Touch, and try and find a way of doing big damage. Right, as always, thanks for watching. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to throw in the comments any additional pieces of information that are noteworthy for the old Sand Devil. If you don't have Godseeker, I hope you got Blizzard and you can do the and you got the 5-star soul for him, because that's another very viable solution. It actually allows you to farm 4 food instead of the 3, which, you know, if you want to get a few of those monster tournament hero path points just to get, you know, maybe the lunar points without actually doing any, you know, serious work, then this is a way of doing it. Farming food, Sand Devil, getting those gear ascensions, getting those dust, because ultimately your account is going to improve by running Sand Devil 25. So yeah, thanks again. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.